Welcome to our show today. It is my sincere hope that you're doing well and you're trying every day to become a better person, because as human beings, we are meant to grow and become better over time. So today I would like to discuss about crisis anticipation. So what is crisis anticipation? It's simply thinking ahead 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, or several years ahead and scanning your environment to identify negative things or bad things that are likely to happen to you, and putting a plan or a response in place to make sure you're not caught off guard. They say forewarned, forearmed. So if you're prepared of such events, if you're prepared of such things, so when they happen, they don't get you off guard, so you know how to respond to such events. And I want to make a difference here, by the way. I'm not saying you should expect bad things to happen to you. There's a difference between expecting bad things to happen to you and preparing for bad things just in case they happen. Those are two different things. One is negative, the other one is positive. So some of the things that could happen to you, could be you could lose your job, lose your income, you could lose a friend, you could lose, and the list goes on. You could lose anything. This is life. Things happen to us sometime. So are you ready for these things? Are you prepared in advance? Do you have a plan on how you could respond? For example, if you lost a job, what could you do? So crisis anticipation is simply putting a plan in place to respond to such things if they were to happen. So it is important to have a plan in place in case some of these things happen to you, because how effective and how fast you respond to a crisis sometimes determines your survival and your progress. So if you have a plan in place and an unexpected event occurs, you just draw a plan and start rolling it out. You know how hard it is to think when you're in a crisis. There's that mind block. So if you had not thought in advance of the response you could give to such a crisis, sometimes they can even lead to depression or simply kill you. So I encourage you today to list some of the things, negative things that could happen to you, and put a plan in place to respond to them just in case they happen. So with globalization, the world is a small village, as I say. So things are changing fast. What is happening out there is affecting also what is happening in our country. So we are interconnected. Finance, market are so volatile today. So there are so many changes, and these changes are going to affect our jobs and our lives. So it is important that we anticipate some of these changes, some of these changes which could be negative, and put a plan in place to respond. Have several alternatives on what you would do. For example, if you lost your job, what you would do in case you lost, God forbid, a spouse. What you would do if your company shut down or your business shut down. What would you do? Do you know? So it is important that you put a plan in place. As Michael Kami said, those who do not think about the future may not have one. So great companies do this. They use this to protect their business from shocks in the future. So I believe also individuals who want to be great can use the same skill, to make sure they achieve whatever plans they have, and in case such things happen, they do not derail their plans or their dreams. So there are two great guys in the past who were known for having for anticipating the unexpected, what experts call extrapolatory skills, thinking ahead in advance and putting several alternatives, courses of action in case a certain thing happened. So they were known to be great for that, and that is why they became so successful in conquering nations at that time. So it is important also we cultivate the same skill. because that's why you're seeing some, people doing crazy things. For example, if your girlfriend or your boyfriend, leaves you, you should have a plan in place on how you respond to such a crisis. You don't take an axe, attack people. You don't do that. So have a plan in place in case such a thing was to happen. Because as we have said earlier, in a crisis, it's so hard to think straight. So I encourage you, please cultivate that skill. Look forward, think forward, and look at some of the threats or some of the negative things that could derail your plans, the plans that you have in future, and put, alternative courses of action to respond in case such a thing was to happen. So thank you very much for listening to me. So subscribe to our channel, like our page, and get more of this. So I wish you all the best as you cultivate this important skill to protect you from future, shocks, future surprises.